Speeds of 120.
Welcome to episode 2 of Beyond the Blacktop. I'm your host, Guadalupe Cáceres, and today we have a special guest who graduated from Texas A&M University in 2007. He was commissioned as an armor second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. He deployed to Iraq twice, and after serving 8 years in active duty, he left to join DPS and continued to serve in the Texas Army National Guard as an officer candidate school instructor. He graduated from D16 Academy and was assigned to the Victoria office. He is passionate about preventing impaired driving, traffic safety, and promoting law enforcement recognition and response to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities like autism. Sergeant Mallory, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Sergeant Cáceres.
Sergeant Mallory, with the month of April being Autism Awareness Month and April 2nd being Autism Awareness Day, let's take a moment to talk about the importance of raising awareness for the people that aren't familiar when it comes to autism.
Autism is a developmental disorder that is characterized by deficiencies or struggles with motor skills, communication, socialization, sensory, and behavioral issues. Today, 1 in 36 children will be diagnosed with autism by the age of 8. And autism is classified as a spectrum disorder, which means that even though 2 individuals might share an autism diagnosis, their experience of that autism disability is going to be vastly different from person to person. So, the saying is like, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. A lot of times in media, autism is portrayed as as individuals who are very intelligent, but they lack some of those social skills, almost like, intelligence to the savant level, but they just don't understand social interactions and things like that. But again, it is a spectrum disorder, so there are folks like that, but you also have individuals that are, have very limited capabilities, being nonverbal, may suffer from some sort of, behavioral sensory issues where they may, injure themselves or be aggressive towards others.
Sergeant Mallory, I've known you for a little over 2 years, and I know that you have a personal experience when it comes to autism. Would you be willing to share your story for our viewers?
So my son Colton, when he was 3 years old, he was diagnosed with autism and global developmental delays, which is an intellectual disability as well. So, and he's about to turn 15 later this month. So for the last 12 years, me, my wife, our family, my daughter, his younger sister, have been learning about autism and, the impacts it has on his life and us as a family. And, it's been a journey ever since the day we got the diagnosis. And it's not something we've had to go through necessarily alone. We've had a lot of help through great teachers and therapists and supportive family. But, there are times, because our son is nonverbal, and he does have some of that sensory issue where he seeks out sensory input, but it's a very fine line because all of a sudden it can be too much input and he can be engaged in those self-injurious or aggressive behaviors.
The Texas Department of Public Safety has evolved in many different ways. How did you start discussing autism with troopers?
So it started back in 2021 when I worked with DPS OA, and we developed a Autism Awareness Patch that was based on the Highway Patrol patch that they sold during autism, during April for autism awareness. And it was just a way for us to connect with other families and to show them, you're not alone in this journey, because sometimes it does feel very isolating, because you do worry about what your family member is going through, sometimes going to things as simple as going to a birthday party or attending another child's sporting event can be difficult, because you just don't know how much sensory input's going to be there, how they're going to react and things like that. So sometimes it could feel isolating and alone. And so that was, we started that to, let those families know that, they're not alone. We do see you. We understand what you're going through. It's different, but we understand some of the things you're going through. And then that led to one of the lieutenants in the San Antonio area when I was working in Victoria, asking me to go to a train the trainer for a autism and intellectual disability course, so I could then go in and train our troopers as well. And so I've been doing that for the past 3 years. But what's made that so successful and great is been able to connect with different groups to bring them in to interact with our troopers and show them.
Sergeant Mallory, you mentioned making those positive impacts on our troopers and our communities. Tell us a little bit more about the success and the importance within our department in raising awareness about autism.
What makes the training so successful is the connections we formed. So when I was in Victoria, I was working with a program called Branching Out. Now that I'm the safety education sergeant in Corpus, I'm working with Choice Living Community. And those have been, programs for young adults, teenagers, and to young adulthood, helping those individuals develop, vocational, life, job, independent skills. It's been great for them because it allows them to self-advocate for themselves on what their needs are. But, getting the feedback that I get from our troopers has been like, we want to spend more time with these folks because that's what makes it real to us. We understand, it's the information you give is good, but actually seeing it and talking to them and understanding, some of these individuals I've worked with have had traumatic experiences with law enforcement before. And that's, another side benefit to the training is we go back through and we start rebuilding that relationship with them. So that way, when they do need help, they know they can come to our troopers and get it.
Every person we interact with is different. A traffic stop can run smooth. Another traffic stop can be more high risk. It's different. It's in law enforcement. That's just the way it is. What services does the department itself, the Texas Department of Public Safety, provide for individuals with autism?
Well, one thing they can do is they can get a communication impediment placed on their driver's license or ID card. And so that way, when we start an encounter and we ask for identification and they hand that to us and we see that on the license, we know, okay, we either need to slow ourselves down or we may need to start thinking about what are some other methods of communication that we need to. So there's that way they can self-disclose their disability and keep it private. It doesn't take anything more than just getting one additional sheet of paper signed by your doctor and taking it down to the driver's license office when you go to get your driver's license ID card or do a renewal. You take that down there, give that to them, and they put it on your temporary one, and then you get your hard copy in the mail.
You stated, communication impediment, that's imprinted on, like the back part of the driver's license or the front part of the driver's license?
It's on the front of the driver's license at the bottom.
Trooper's at a traffic stop. He's interacting with somebody's not making eye contact with them, driver, passenger, whatnot. First thing we think about, okay, what's going on? Why isn't he making eye contact with me? We start moving a little bit more into the traffic stop, maybe request a backup unit, something's going on. So they provide the driver license to the trooper. Trooper doesn't see that, doesn't see the bottom part, communication impediment. He goes to his unit, runs the driver license number. Will the trooper get an alert via our system, like a red flag saying communication impediment?
So for DPS in our system, yes, that when you run that license or ID card and they have that on there, it will flag it. So it'll light up red and you'll get that alert. Again, it's one of those things that we have to tell us like, hey, pay a little bit more attention. This requires your attention.
Kind of like slow down.
Yeah, exactly. There's something going on during this encounter. And we get alerts for, multitudes of reasons. But this, again, is one of those ones like, hey, I need you to pay attention to me really quickly because this is important information that you need in order to be successful.
Mallory, I know you're out of the Corpus area. Do you have any activities or events planned for April?
This April will be the 4th year we've done the DPSOA Autism Patch. We've changed up the design every year to try and do something just a little bit different to keep folks engaged and, collecting different patches and supporting different causes. This year, our patch is designed to reflect the communication impediment so we can help get the word out, help our school districts get the word out about the program. So it's going to be a red and blue patch from the driver's license division with a picture of a driver's license on it and the common impediment written on it, along with the green puzzle piece, which is a symbol for Autism Awareness Month. We're going to have the law enforcement torch run on April 25th. It's a Saturday. And in fact, the sale of the patch this year is going to benefit Special Olympics Texas, which works to, provide an inclusive and opportunities for individuals with disabilities to compete in a variety of different sports. Now they're doing bowling, basketball, tennis, track and field. I mean, you name it. If it's a sport, they're finding out a way to adapt those sports so more people can play them.
Do you have any final thoughts you would like to share with our audience as we move through the month of April?
We talked about training. We've talked about different services the department provides. But at the end of the day, the best thing we can do is just to go out into our communities and interact with these individuals. Go to those events we talked about, whether they be the walks, the runs. Just go out in your communities today, troopers, and find the individuals with autism and other disabilities like Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. These are spectrum disorders. And so every person is going to experience their disability a little bit differently. But the only way we're going to learn is going to be to interact with those individuals on a one-on-one basis. And that doesn't require any sort of specialized training. It just requires the initiative to go out there, make contact, and the willingness to learn about people and, the things they're going through.
Sergeant Mallory, I appreciate you coming out today and providing a glimpse of your personal experiences when it comes to autism. And for our viewers, we're hoping that the information we provided today gives you a sense of motivation to go out there and educate your family, your friends, your coworkers on the services that the Texas Department of Public Safety provides. Here's a glimpse to episode 3. Thank you and be safe.
They put their lives on the line every day to protect and serve their communities, and their sacrifice should never be forgotten.
Is out of service. Forever off duty.